Three reasons why you need to learn about ESG. Now, if this is the first time you're visiting our channel, then please do click subscribe, and if you find value from this video, give us a thumbs up. Many people don't know about what this new ESG concept is, but a quick 1-minute overview is it falls under the umbrella of sustainability, because the entire planet, every customer, every company, every investor, everybody now understands that beyond financial profits, beyond money, impact on sustainability is very high for us. And under sustainability, we break it down into three factors: E, environment; S, social; G, governance. Environment is about carbon footprint, climate change; social is about how you treat your employees, your customers; and governance is how well does the organization run in a fair way to support all their stakeholders. We'll get into the details of ESG later, but in this video, it's about the importance that you need to understand. Point number one, rising demand. I've been relatively lucky that in a short span of just 15 years of my career, I have seen a few things that have really become big in front of my eyes. And those are things that you and I can relate to, right? There is a concept called IFRS, International Accounting, essentially, that when I started off, when I was in college, there were talks about it coming, and before that, there was barely any, concern about it. But over the last decade, entire industries, entire careers have been created because of the rise of IFRS. Similarly, if I talk about ACCA, which we are great at, it's something else we've seen, It was very, very unknown when I was doing it, but we have seen the acceptance of India, the companies, the students, the parents, and today it's become one of the most popular programs in India, again, from a relatively unknown space. ESG is similar. ESG is something that in India, it's going to be, coming in the next few months. It's already started in the West, but more importantly, you will see big companies starting to pay attention. You will see young customers making a decision as to what company to buy from, any product, based on how that company is with respect to being sustainable on planet Earth. And that means in the long run, a company like Tesla, not because of electric vehicles only, but because of the sincere belief of us as customers that it makes more sense to buy electric cars than cars with the traditional combustion engine. This will make Tesla's ESG score high, which means even if they make lesser money than, let's say, a Ford or a Toyota, there is a chance that investors and customers might select Tesla. ESG as the rating is going up. ESG, this was an example with environment. We're working with companies, multinational companies who are hiring talent from us, from our students. They want diversity. They want people who otherwise traditionally would not have been paid much attention to. They want to hire specific kind of candidates because they want to have their organization filled with a diverse profile of employees. Again, this will put the S in the ESG. It will pull their rating up. Once again, more clients will hopefully go to them because they are employing not just people on only marks or only on their cost, but also on the social factor of the ESG. So there's a rising demand. We have tied up with a company called Unicus. Unicus is the leading ESG player in India in consulting. They have hundreds of clients already, and they just started less than 2 years ago. They have clients in India, in the Middle East, in the US. We've seen their growth, and trust me, it proves the importance of ESG. So it's on its way. If you are early on the boat, always the early investors in companies like Uber, in Ola, in Twitter, on Instagram, all these guys have made massive wealth because they were the first few of an industry which is coming up. So number one point is learn ESG because sustainability is here to stay, and it hopefully will make an impact in all of our lives in the near future, and you can be one of those pioneers. Point number two, investor awareness. In India already, mutual funds have started creating something called ESG funds. They have funds in which they only promote ESG related companies, and those funds are really big, taking off. Like I was giving you the example of Tesla, a company like Coca-Cola might have a great profit and loss account, a great balance sheet, a great financial statement. But unless they start working on reducing the environmental damage, if there is any, unless they make sure that they are treating all human stakeholders well, which is whether they're employees or customers or investors. If there are any large companies that have been run in a very aristocratic way, in a very not in a way that is fair, it's not like there are multiple decision makers so that there is no bias, etc., etc. All this falls under governance when the CEO and the chairman both are one person giving too much power versus having them as two different people, so they are both accountable to each other, etc., etc. This is on the G side of governance. All these things are becoming important for investors. And by investors, I don't mean just the venture capitalists or the private equity, but people like you and me, right? We know that the future generations and our futures are dependent on less pollution. If you're from India, if you're from Bombay or from Delhi, you know what's happening. You, over time, start supporting companies that might be a little less profitable, for example, but are taking care of everything besides money as well. And over time, start investing in those companies much more because there's more of a balanced approach, which we all need in our lives. That's another reason to understand ESG, because if those companies go up and you're an early investor when the price is lower, if you understood these concepts well, these companies will grow and in turn, hopefully, will you. And point number 3, new vacancies in the job market. Not only are consulting companies like Unicus hiring massively, but a lot of companies, big companies, family businesses have started to understand why ESG is important and are willing to hire people, obviously, who will have no background in ESG because it's a new, relatively new industry, but are willing to give people chances no matter what their background is, if they can prove their skill and talent, which gives you the chance to, no matter what your history is or no matter how young you are, if you want to jump on an industry which is mostly going to rise and skyrocket, ESG is something you can take up, demonstrate value in the market, and hopefully make an entire different trajectory for your career than you would have probably otherwise. So I hope these 3 reasons make sense. And as always, if there's anything we've not mentioned, please leave it in the comment. We'll definitely get back.